Most of my content focuses on real estate, cash flow, and long-term wealth building. But every once in a while, a current event hits the market that real investors cannot ignore. This is one of those moments. Today, we're talking about Chevron, Venezuela, and the recent geopolitical shock involving reports around the Maduro regime, and why this matters for energy markets, oil prices, and investors who care about capital allocation, risk, and asymmetric outcomes. This episode is different from my usual posts, but it's important because geopolitics moves markets faster than spreadsheets ever will. Let's start with the setup. Venezuela sits on the largest proven oil reserves in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia, larger than Russia. For decades, that oil was effectively trapped due to sanctions, mismanagement, corruption, and political instability. U.S. and European companies largely exited the country, except for a handful of tightly regulated operations operating under special licenses. Chevron is the most important of those companies. Chevron has maintained a presence in Venezuela through joint ventures with PDVSA under U.S. government waivers. Those waivers allowed Chevron to produce limited oil, primarily to recover debt owed by the Venezuelan state. Chevron was not allowed to freely export or profit in the way it would in a normal market. But critically, it kept infrastructure, personnel, and legal footing inside the country. That positioning matters. Now let's talk about the recent news cycle. Markets reacted sharply to reports surrounding a potential major shift in Venezuela's political leadership, including reports of Maduro being detained, removed, or losing effective control. Whether the reports ultimately prove true, exaggerated, or premature is almost secondary in the short term. What matters is that the market immediately repriced political risk. When political risk changes in a country like Venezuela, oil traders don't wait for confirmation. They front-run outcomes. Why? Because regime change, or even the credible possibility of it, opens the door to sanctions relief, foreign investment, production ramp-ups, and long-term supply changes. That has massive implications for global oil markets. Now let's connect this directly to Chevron. Chevron is uniquely positioned relative to other oil majors. Unlike Exxon, BP, or Shell, which exited Venezuela entirely, Chevron stayed. That gives Chevron optionality. Optionality is one of the most valuable assets in investing. If Venezuela stabilizes politically, Chevron is first in line to expand production. If sanctions ease, Chevron can scale faster than competitors. If joint ventures are restructured, Chevron already knows the fields, the geology, and the infrastructure. If oil flows normalize, Chevron benefits asymmetrically. That is the bull case. Investors immediately recognize that Chevron has embedded upside tied to Venezuela that is not currently fully priced into the stock. That upside acts like a call option on geopolitical normalization. But now let's slow down, because there are also real risks. Venezuela is not a light switch. Even if leadership changes tomorrow, rebuilding the oil sector takes years. Infrastructure is degraded. Equipment is outdated. Skilled labor has left the country. Pipelines, refineries, and export terminals need massive capital investment. Chevron would need regulatory clarity, legal protections, contract enforcement, and capital deployment confidence. None of that happens overnight. There is also headline risk. Political transitions can be messy. Power vacuums create instability. Production can actually decline before it improves. Labor strikes, sabotage, or policy reversals can spook markets. There is also reputational risk. Operating in Venezuela carries ESG scrutiny, political scrutiny, and regulatory scrutiny. Chevron must balance shareholder returns with geopolitical optics. Now let's zoom out to the oil market. Oil prices are driven by supply, demand, and perceived future supply. Venezuela represents latent supply, oil that exists but is not fully accessible. When that latent supply looks like it might come online, markets price it in immediately. That can put downward pressure on oil prices in the short term, especially if traders believe millions of barrels per day could return to global markets over time. However, here's the nuance most people miss. Even if Venezuela ramps production, global demand continues to grow. OPEC discipline remains fragile. U.S. shale growth has slowed due to capital discipline. Geopolitical risks remain elevated in the Middle East, Russia, and elsewhere. So Venezuela coming back does not necessarily mean oil crashes. It means supply dynamics become more complex. For investors, this matters because energy stocks are not just about oil prices. They're about margins, capital discipline, dividends, and balance sheet strength. Chevron is not a speculative oil play. Chevron is a capital return machine. Chevron generates massive free cash flow. It pays a strong dividend. It buys back shares. It maintains a disciplined capital program. Venezuela upside is not required for Chevron to perform. It is incremental. That's what makes this interesting. Chevron does not need Venezuela to work. But if Venezuela works, Chevron benefits more than most. Now let's talk about the cons for Chevron stock. Short-term volatility is one. Geopolitical headlines create whipsaw price action. Long-term uncertainty is another. Sanctions policy can change with elections. International politics are unpredictable. There is also execution risk. Chevron must decide how aggressively to deploy capital in a high-risk environment. Too cautious and it misses upside. Too aggressive and it exposes shareholders to downside. There is also opportunity cost. Every dollar spent rebuilding Venezuelan production is a dollar not spent elsewhere. Permian Basin, Guyana, LNG projects, or shareholder returns. So how should investors think about this? First, this is not a trade, it's a positioning story. If you already own Chevron, Venezuela exposure is a bonus, not the thesis. Second, energy investors should think in probabilities, not certainties. There is a range of outcomes, from minimal change to meaningful long-term production recovery. Third, this highlights why energy is still a geopolitical asset class. Oil is not just a commodity, it is a political instrument. That creates risk, but also opportunity. Now let's address the broader energy sector. If Venezuela stabilizes and production increases over several years, it could moderate long-term oil prices. That favors refiners and consumers, but pressures high-cost producers. However, majors like Chevron are built for this environment. They thrive on scale, efficiency, and capital discipline. Smaller, highly leveraged producers are more vulnerable to price swings. Integrated majors are not. This is why institutional investors continue to allocate to large energy companies despite ESG pressure. They offer yield, cash flow, and geopolitical optionality. Now let's bring it back to why this matters for my audience. Whether you invest in real estate, stocks, or private deals, macro events matter. Energy prices affect inflation. Inflation affects interest rates. Interest rates affect cap rates, mortgage costs, and asset prices. Geopolitics flows downstream into your balance sheet, whether you realize it or not. That's why this post is different. It's not about rent checks or leverage. It's about understanding the forces that move capital across asset classes. So here's the takeaway. Chevron's position in Venezuela is a high-risk, high-optionality asset embedded inside a conservative, shareholder-friendly company. The recent geopolitical news reminded markets that this option exists. For long-term investors, Chevron remains a dividend-driven energy core holding. Venezuela is upside, not the foundation. For energy investors, this is a reminder that supply shocks don't come from spreadsheets. They come from politics. And for investors broadly, this is why staying informed matters, even when the topic isn't your usual lane. Follow the Finance Shark for real-world investing analysis that connects markets, capital, and strategy, not hype.